Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me for practice today. So today, this time of year, we're going to focus on a late summer practice. So we're going to look at opening the hips and a little bit of core work, a little bit of balancing. So late summer is all about this idea of coming back to centre. It's kind of a transitional time of year. It's almost a little bit sad, that kind of summer's ending and then we're coming into darker winter, longer nights, so sometimes it can feel a little bit uncertain, a little bit unstable. So today we're going to focus on creating a little bit of stability in our body, a little bit of stability, hopefully throughout our life and the rest of our day as well. So for today's practice, it'd be really good if you had a cushion. I've got a fox cushion because if you know me, you know how much I love foxes. If you don't have a cushion handy, a rolled up jumper, rolled up blanket will do as well. And if you're feeling super flexible for today, then you might not need any cushion at all, but that's one prop I would suggest for today's practice. So whenever you're ready, coming into a comfortable seated position, so that can be anything for you. So if you're comfortable with your legs out wide, or feet on the mat, or even in a chair or a stool or meditation cushion, whatever you feel comfortable in, because we're going to be here for a little moment. So wherever you are, coming into your comfortable seated position, closing the eyes, and just taking a hand to the lower abdomen, one to the upper chest. Just taking a moment to actually find your centre, just come into the breath, come into your body, let any stresses of the day melt away. So late summer is actually, a really beautiful time of year. At first we can always feel a little bit resistant to change, and I feel like that's quite a natural, experience to feel. Change can be uncertain and sometimes even a little bit scary, but if we don't change, then it's more difficult to grow, and change opens us up to amazing new experiences and possibilities. So just letting the change of the seasons, into your life and into your practice today. And with every inhale, feeling the breath rise beneath the palms of the hands. And with every exhale, just feeling the breath fall away from the body. Just gently letting it go, releasing it out. Breathing in and out through the nose if that's comfortable for you. And just trying to keep this nice, long, steady breath throughout your practice and throughout your day as well. Today we're focusing on coming back to centre, and the breath is one surefire way to help us do that. So releasing the palms of the hands down, taking a moment to settle in, and when you're ready, just gently letting the eyes float open. So from here, we're going to take the left hand down, extending the right arm all the way up. Just coming into a nice, easy side extension here. So pushing into the palm of the left hand, so really anchor down through this right hip. Extending up and away through the hand, just letting the neck relax down. Getting it nice and relaxed, we're just warming up. Coming all the way up, switching sides, taking the right hand down, extending up with the left hand, making sure the fingertips are nice and wide on that right palm of the hand, pressing in with each and every little fingertip to really help push and anchor down into that left hip. So you don't want to be up here and tipping all the way over. You want to be actively pushing into that hip. And then coming all the way up, we're going to walk the hands forward just as far as feels comfortable. And if you're doing this in the morning, your spine might feel a little bit stiffer than if you're doing practice later in the afternoon. That's okay. It's totally normal. So just doing whatever feels comfortable for you, taking it as far as feels good in your body. Breathing deeply. Then when you're ready, walking the palms of the hands all the way back, coming back up to seated position. We're going to take the hands behind us and just open up through the heart centre and the chest. So rolling the shoulders back, really creating this nice opening through the upper chest here. It's really good if we're feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit afraid. Opening the heart centre can really help us embrace those feelings, kind of deal with them. Walking the hands forward, we're going to come onto all fours, so you can just roll over the shins, taking it nice and gentle. We're going to come into cat-cow, so placing the palms of the hands underneath the wrists and the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. Inhaling, you're going to dip the belly button all the way down towards the floor, lifting the head and the gaze all the way up, keeping the elbows nice and soft. Exhale, rounding through the spine, starting at the base of the spine. Curling all the way in, tucking your chin in towards your chest. Inhaling, we're going to do this a couple of times. And all the way up. Exhaling, arching the back, rounding it in. Inhaling, tucking the tailbone up. Looking straight ahead. Exhaling, rounding it in. Last time, inhaling. And exhaling. Going back to a nice neutral spine. Making sure that you're nice and grounded through the palms of the hands and the knees and pressing the tops of the feet in towards the floor. We're going to come into a little tabletop balance. So extending the left leg all the way back. Keeping the toes active, so toes pointing down towards the ground and extending that right arm all the way forwards. Taking a few breaths here, so really engaging that core. The core is our centre and the centre is what we're working with today. So taking a few breaths here, really pushing onto the floor with that hand, helping to ground you down to the earth. We're going to bring elbow to knee here, so rounding the spine, bringing elbow towards the knee on an exhale. Inhale, extend that out. 2 more times, exhaling, bringing it in. Inhaling to really push away with the arm, push away with the foot. Last time on your exhale, curling it in. Inhaling, shooting the arm, shooting the foot away. Taking a breath here, and then we're going to replace the hand, replace the foot. Taking a moment to get yourself grounded, because we're going to come straight into the other side. So maybe doing some little hip rolls, keeping it nice and loose. And then we're going to come in for round 2, second side. So taking the right foot back, tucking the toes under, so your foot's really active, toes point down towards the ground. Extending that left arm all the way forwards. Holding here for a couple of breaths. So you should really feel your core working, kind of curling the core up towards the spine, really activating that core here. Taking an inhale, and on your exhale, we're going to bring elbow towards the knee, rounding through the spine, curling it in, pushing into that palm of the hands. Inhaling, extend it out. 2 more times. Curling an elbow towards the knee. Inhaling, extend it out. Last time, exhaling, curling it all the way in. Elbow towards the knee, curling through that spine. Inhaling, extend it out. Holding for another couple of breaths. And then we're going to replace the hand, replace the knee. Just take a moment to just really roll through the hips, roll through the shoulders. Just keeping it really loose and fluid in the body. So from here, we're going to walk the hands down. So we're coming onto the forearms, tucking the back toes under. And we're going to come into a nice little forearm plank. So if you're feeling, we're going to hold it for 5 minutes, but if you're feeling a little bit tired or ready today, then feel free to drop your knees down towards the ground. So planting the forearms onto the mat, tucking the toes under, taking the gaze down towards the mat. You don't want to be straining the neck towards the gaze in front of you, just letting the neck relax. So taking the gaze down towards the mat. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, you guys are doing amazing. 3, 2, 1, dropping the knees, just lowering all the way down onto your belly. Just making a nice little pillow for your forehead to rest down. Just taking a moment here to come back to the breath. The core, working the core can feel a little bit spicy, and when we're working hard, it's easy for the breath to kind of run away from us, so it's always good to connect back to that centre, really coming back to the breath. From here, taking the gaze up, we're going to bring the palms of the hands under the shoulder. Keeping the knees on the ground, we're going to keep it a nice gentle back bend, coming into kind of mini cobra. So pushing into the palms of the hands, fingertips spread nice and wide, pushing into the tops of the feet, lifting the chest. Keeping the elbows nice and soft and only coming up as high as feels comfortable. So if you're feeling any tension in the lower back, lower it down, come to where your body is at today. Keeping it nice and gentle. Lowering all the way down, we're going to come into downward facing dog, so tucking the toes under, lifting the thighs up. We're just going to push in with the hands, coming up onto tabletop, and then sending the hips all the way up and back. So you might need to walk the feet in a little bit just to get your distance for your downward facing dog. And once you're there, we're just going to pedal the feet, so lifting up onto one toe, or one set of toes, and then switching sides. And pushing the opposite heel down. So rolling through that a couple of times, switching, sending one heel down, coming up onto the toes of the opposite foot, and switching sides. Coming up onto both toes, sending both heels down towards the mat, down towards the earth. Just staying here for a breath or two. So if you find downward facing dog a little bit gnarly on your wrists, you can come into dolphin, so that's lowering the forearms down, lifting the heels and the sit bones all the way up to the sky, sending the heels down towards the earth. But if your wrists are feeling good today, coming all the way up. And remember, you can always take child's pose as well. If you're feeling you're taking it a little bit easier today. From here, taking the gaze towards the hands, we're just going to gently walk the feet in towards the hands, bend the knees as much as you need to. And then from here, I'm going to clench a ragdoll, so just taking the crooks of the elbows and just hanging, swaying from side to side. And then when you're ready, drop the knees, rolling all the way up to standing. Just coming with your feet together, palms in towards your chest, closing the eyes. So really coming back into your centre. Taking a moment here, rocking backwards and forwards with your feet, and then a little bit side to side. Nothing too crazy, don't want to rocket yourself in one direction and stumble over. But just really feeling the outer edges of your feet, really feeling them ground down. We are going to come into a little bit of balancing, so this always serves as well to do it. So once you're rocked from side to side and forward and backwards a little time, finding your centre, so just coming into stillness. Pressing the thumbs in towards the sternum and towards the heart centre. Opening the eyes now if they're already closed. Sometimes we go into that automatically. We're going to come into Warrior 3 and then coming into Warrior 1. So if you know where you're going, that's great. If that means nothing to you, don't worry, we're going to chat through it anyway. So from here, we're going to root down through the right leg. So making the right foot really active, lifting the toes and then spreading them and really rooting them down into the earth. Taking a moment, and then when you're ready, coming up onto the toes of the left foot. Seeing how it feels to take all the weight into that right leg there. And then when you're ready, we're going to lift that left knee all the way up, keeping the toes active. And then we're going to rock like a pendulum, so taking the foot back as we take the torso forward, extending the foot all the way back, and into this sort of capital T position. Really pushing into that grounded standing leg there. Finding a still point to rest your gaze. Okay, if you come out, just come back in. You can find a wall to support you if you need to. And then from there, bending into that right standing leg, we're going to gently take the left foot back, coming into warrior one. So bending this front knee, this right knee deeply here, bringing the hands in towards the chest. So really engaging the core. So warrior three is really fires up that core there as well. It's really challenging posture. Warrior one's really strong, really grounded, really roots it into the earth. So it's a good balance to get between the two. So we're going to inhale, taking the hands all the way up, looking up towards the thumbs. Breathe in here for a moment or two. So if this feels like it's crunching up into your shoulders, you can take the hands shoulder width apart. You can bring the hands together. And if you're feeling like your breath is getting away from you, you can bring the thumbs in towards the heart center. So as soon as we take the arms above the head, your heart rate starts to go up a little bit more. So if you want to take it a little bit easier today, bring in the hands at prayer at the heart center. Hold in here for a couple of breaths. On your next exhale, bringing the hands down if they were extended up, coming onto the toes of that left foot, coming into like a high lunge, sinking down. And then when you're ready, we're going to meet up in a downward facing dog, so taking the hands, frame that front foot, coming up onto the toes of the back foot, rocking backwards and forwards a little bit, and then we're going to send that foot, right foot back to meet the left. Staying here for a moment, we can pedal the feet if we want, really letting everything relax in. Maybe one side feels different now that we've extended one side and not the other, but don't worry, we're going to equal that out just now. So taking the gaze towards the hands, we're going to walk the feet all the way in. Softening the knees and rolling all the way up to standing. So we're going to do the exact same on the other side, so you know where we're going now. So taking the hands into heart center. And again, just taking a moment to really find your center, really grounding down through the feet. It's really important to do this before we, jump into balancing, so we can get really excited, and me particularly, I jump straight in and, wobbling all over the place. So taking a moment to find your center is really helpful when it comes to balance. So lifting the toes of the left foot, spreading the toes nice and wide. Grounding down into that left foot, coming onto the toes of the right foot. Seeing how we're feeling, and then when you're ready, we're going to lift that knee up to hip height, keeping the toe nice and flexed. Ooh. It's always handy if you've got walls nearby. And wobbling's natural. And when you're ready, we're going to extend that right foot all the way back as we take the torso forward. So really engage in the core, bringing the core, the navel in towards the spine. Try not to extend your leg too high, so you want to kind of keep the hips as level as you can. Breathing deeply. And then when you're ready, blending into that left leg, we're going to take the right foot all the way back. Gently, with control, coming into warrior one. Taking a moment here. Inhaling. And exhaling. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, we're going to take the hands all the way up, extending them up towards the sky, if that's feeling right for you today. Remember, you can always keep them down towards the heart center and the palms shoulder width, if that feels a little bit better. And taking the gaze up towards the thumbs, or straight ahead if it feels better in your neck. When you're ready, bring the hands back down to heart center. Coming up onto the toes of that back foot. I'm going to take the hands, we're going to frame the front foot, And when you're ready, rocking backwards and forwards, and then we're going to push into those planted hands and step the left foot back to meet the right, coming into downward facing dog. I'm just taking a moment here to let the heels sink in towards the earth. Let your breath regulate. Be swaying the hips from side to side. It'll be really nice after doing that little bit of balancing work there. When you're ready, we're going to come through to seated. So taking the gaze forwards, looking towards the hands, and just stepping one foot through, followed by the second, coming into a little basket, and then posting the feet all the way through. So from here, as we are doing a little bit of work with the core, we're going to come into Navasana posture, bow posture. So bringing the feet to standing, so knees point towards the ceiling. So seeing how you feel here, coming up onto the tiptoes, and then maybe experiment with one leg, extending it out, maybe extending the other leg out, maybe taking both legs out, and then releasing the arms from behind the shins, letting the arms float out by the sides. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, maybe you can straighten the legs. Little quivers are good, that's where the magic happens. 2, 1, we're going to come into low boat, so lowering it down, we're not coming all the way down yet. Hold it for 5, 4, keeping those shoulders lifted. 2, 1, coming all the way up to a little high boat, and then crossing the legs, letting the hands rest on the knees. Good job. It's a really tough posture, but it really works into the core. So from here, we're going to extend both legs out. We're going to come into kind of half hero posture. So this is where your pillow might come in handy, so make sure that you can reach it. So from here, we're going to really exaggerate the motion. We're going to really rock onto the right side of our body. We're going to take our left ankle and we're going to bring the shin back. And then we're going to lift up and kind of recalibrate the hips. So if you've got any knee issues and you're looking at this and you're going like that, no, not today, then coming into Janu Sirsasana, so bringing the base of the left foot in towards the right thigh is totally fine as well. So if you're following along with me, making sure that your hips are nice and settled. So what can happen in this posture is we're rocking over towards that straight leg. We're not really balanced, we're not feeling the sit bone of the left side. So this is where our pillow can come in really handy. So you can tuck the pillow underneath the sit bone of that straight leg. It can help give you a little bit of lift, maybe equalising things a little bit more here. And then we can breathe. So this is a really intense posture. It's one of my favourites, and it really works into those quads here. So now that we're feeling a little bit settled and our body knows that we're not doing anything crazy, we're not moving into anything too fast, maybe we can start to walk the hands all the way forwards. Or a little bit forward. So this is where a strap might come in handy as well. But personally, I really like to have the fingertips on the floor. So this is another way that you can help to recalibrate the hips. So if you're leaning over onto one side, you can use the fingertips to kind of equalise that and make sure that you're not falling over too much. You ready? We're going to walk the hands all the way back, coming back up to seated. So we're going to come out of this side of the posture, we're going to come into the second side. So to come out of the posture, really exaggerate it again, come out the same way you come in, so really rolling onto that right side of the leg. And imagine that you're kicking a ball, so your foot's all the way back here and you're going to roll it around and really slowly kick a ball, straightening it back out. And then give the toes a little wiggle. And we're going to come into second side, so if that felt okay on one side, it might feel okay on the other side. If it doesn't, if you've got knee issues or anything, remember bringing the base of the right foot in towards that left thigh is an option as well. You know, keeping the knees super safe, it's so important. So for the left side, we're going to really lean into the left side. I really exaggerate this because it's just one sure way of helping to keep your knees safe, coming into the posture safely, so important. So once your foot is behind you and you're kind of on your shin bone there, you might feel that you need to kind of peel your calf from out underneath your thigh there. Really pressing into the top of the foot. And again, you might feel this side is a little bit more stable, or you might feel you're kind of rolling over onto one side, or you're not anywhere near on that hip, on that sit bone. So again, you can lift yourself up, scoot a little pillow under there, and having this lift is actually really nice. So I recommend you try it both ways, with a pillow and without one, so that then you can kind of get a feel for what it's like when you're folding forwards. Also, having that lift will make folding forwards a little bit easier. It helps to tilt the hip bones and the pelvis. So once you're ready and a little bit stable, you've got all your props in place, you can walk the hands forward if that feels comfortable. If you're really feeling it on this thigh, coming back up to upright position and just sticking with the breath is okay as well. But wherever you are, just breathe in deeply. Keeping the toes of the extended leg pointing up towards the ceiling, nice and active. This is a really great posture for people with fallen arches as well. It's a really nice one. A challenging one too. And when you're ready, we're going to walk the hands all the way back up to position. If you've got a pillow underneath, just removing the pillow, and then we're going to come out the same way that we went in. So really leaning into that left side, turning with the body, so letting the foot turn, really releasing out. And we're going to imagine that we're kicking a ball, and we're coming in, and we're kicking the ball, and we're out of the posture. So from here, just letting the toes relax, wiggling it out. Extending the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, taking the first two fingers, we're going to hook them round that big toe there. And if you are struggling to reach the toes, it's okay, you can take the calves, or you can use a strap or a dressing gown loop to help give you that extra little bit of reach. Inhaling, extending the chest, sitting up nice and tall. As you exhale, bringing the navel in towards the spine and folding in. So just letting the neck relax, so not gazing towards the toes, bringing the chin down. Really lengthening, it's really nice for lengthening out the back of that neck there as well. We don't always need to strain the neck to gaze at the toes and, you know, this kind of fight to get forward, and you know, it's nice just to relax the neck. We do so much with the neck and the shoulders, letting it relax out is usually a welcome change in our body. Hold in for a few more breaths. For your next inhale, looking straight ahead, lifting the chest, and then releasing the toes. Let the toes wiggle out a little bit. From here, we're going to slide the feet all the way in to standing, and then from there we're gently going to open the knees, coming into Baddha Konasana, so bringing the soles of the feet together. So if your hips are feeling a little bit tight today, so if you're up here and your hips are feeling a little bit tight, rather than struggling with keeping the legs lifted and, you know, this kind of struggle, I guess, you can pop cushions underneath, blocks underneath. Usually something nice and soft is really nice, so popping them underneath both knees can help just make the pose super comfortable. So taking the hands round the toes, sitting up nice and tall, and letting the gravity do the work, really. So you can play about with actively pushing with your thighs down towards the ground. So this movement should come, you know, kind of entirely from the hips. You're not pushing down onto the knees, and you're not, the movement shouldn't ever come from the knees. So not forcing it, just seeing, just exploring with curiosity. I always like to have that approach with practice. Explore with curiosity and kindness. So when you're ready, we're going to take an inhale here. Then as you exhale, we're just going to let the elbows soften back towards the body. We're just going to fold forward. So keeping a nice long straight spine. So it doesn't matter how far you get down. If you can get your chin on the floor, you're having a super flexible day, that's great. But just taking it to where it's comfortable. Taking it to where your body is asking you to take it today. Breathe in deeply. Inhaling to come all the way up. So opening the top of the feet. So the knife edge, the bottom edge of the feet are together, pinky edge, side of the feet. And you're opening up the sole of the feet, so you can kind of like you're looking in a little book, a really interesting book. Depending on how interesting your feet is, I suppose. And then from there, we're going to curl the tailbone under, so we're going to bring the navel towards the spine, really round and down through the back, and we're going to see if we can get our head down towards that little nice gap we've created there, that little book. So curling it in, round and through the spine. Taking the hands around the outer edges of the toes. Gently encouraging you to roll in a little bit deeper. On your next inhale, just gently rolling all the way back up, so you're coming back to centre. Taking the hands on the outer edges of the knees, we're just going to lift and slowly bring the knees back to centre, so come into standing. Taking the hands on either side of the body, we're just going to gently window wipe the knees, so taking the knees to one side, coming back through centre, and then taking them to the other side. And back to centre. One more time either side. Over towards the left, come through centre, and then over towards the right there. And coming back up to centre. So with your knees pointing towards the ceiling, we're going to gently roll down, but I'd invite you to kind of roll down with control, so we're not just going to flop back and super quick. We're going to take the arms forward and we're just going to gently roll all the way down. So making it super, super slow, really engaging the core. Finding a little space bit at the core, we're going to hold for a couple of breaths. And then we're going to roll all the way down, gently releasing. So from here, bringing the feet in towards the sit bones, maybe giving the heels a little bit of a tickle with the hands. And maybe taking the feet just maybe a little bit wider than hip width apart. So we're going to actually take our cushion, if we've got a cushion, we're going to press it in between the thighs here, taking the hands alongside the body. We're going to roll through the pelvis a couple of times, so just tilting and arching the spine. So you should really feel the mid-back pressing down as you curl up through the tailbone. And as you push the tailbone away, you should feel that gap kind of come quite big under there, the mid-back. So curling under the tailbone, arch in the back, pushing the tummy up towards the ceiling almost. So the next time your tailbone is curled under, we're going to hold it there, so bringing the navel towards the spine, taking the arms alongside your body, having that cushion there, really pushing the thighs in together, really activating the legs. And then when we're ready, on our next inhale, pushing into the arms, pushing into the feet and the big toe especially, we're going to lift the torso all the way up, coming into a nice easy bridge posture. Taking a few breaths here. Squeezing that cushion. Making sure the knees aren't falling out towards the side. And when you're ready, gently lowering down the same way you come in. Lowering all the way down to the mat. We're going to do a second bridge posture, so you can have pillow, you can remove the pillow, whichever feels best for you. Even if you're not using the pillow this time, making sure that your knees are nice and parallel, you know, your knees aren't flopping out towards the side. We want to keep the legs working. So pushing into the hands and the feet, curling up through the tailbone. Then on your next inhale, lifting the spine one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way up onto the shoulders. So the gaze should be towards the ceiling. Or you can close the eyes. It can feel really nice having the eyes shut in this posture. And then when you're ready, gently lowering all the way back down towards the mat. Same way you come in. From here, we're going to give our knees a little hug in towards the body. Maybe rocking a little bit from side to side. And then when you're ready, coming back to centre, giving your shins that final squeeze in. And then releasing it down, coming into Shavasana. So taking the feet as wide as your mat, letting the feet flop out to the sides. Palms turning upwards, facing towards the ceiling. Grabbing any warm things, any jumpers and blankets. You know, you've got a pillow here, put a pillow behind your neck, can feel really nice. Just getting all nice and cozy for Shavasana. And just take a moment to do a quick body scan. So just tuning into the breath, any niggles that you might feel, and if you do come across any niggles, and maybe send in the breath in those areas, trying to release and relax them. Unclenching the jaw, and the lips together, the teeth slightly apart, nice and relaxed. Checking in with the shoulders. Where do your shoulders? Are they up towards your ears, or can we roll them down a little bit, just releasing them back down towards the floor, really lengthening up through that neck. And just taking this moment to tune in with the centre, going back to the centre of the body. Breathing deeply. Feel the sense of stability in the body and support from the floor. And just enjoying the peace and stillness. When you're ready, starting to bring a little bit of life back into the body, maybe wriggling the fingers and then the toes. And extending the arms all the way up overhead, pointing the toes and extending the arms, really lengthening out the body, seeing how long you can make it. And when you're ready, hugging the knees in towards the chest. Giving yourself a little bit of self-love here. And rolling onto whichever side feels most comfortable to you, whether it be left or right, wherever you have space. Taking a breath here on the floor, the fetal position. Then taking the top arm down beside your face and pushing yourself all the way back up to comfortable seated position. Maybe using the left hand to support your head all the way back up. And from here, we're going to extend the arms nice and wide. Going all the way up towards the thumbs. And then bringing the thumbs down onto the crown of the head. Between the eyebrows, the third eye, the heart centre. And then bowing it down to the earth. And coming all the way up. So, namaste. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to practice today. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to send me any messages or share it with anyone who might enjoy this flow. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you have a truly beautiful day. See you next time. Bye.